What's up, guys? Welcome back to Simply FPL. Today we're going to do a Game Week 9 wildcard video. So I did a Game Week 8 wildcard video where I've already used my wildcard. I used it in Game Week 3, but what I did was I put together a team of players that if I had a wildcard I'd get, and what that does is it pretty much answers all the questions I get on all my videos about should I get this guy, should I get that guy. So the video did really well. I think it's my second highest viewed video ever. It's like 5,500 views. So I might make this a weekly thing while people keep watching it. So yeah, international break is upon us. Not a huge amount of content to put up. So I know a lot of people are probably mulling over what transfers to make. And I know fixtures are changing as well for quite a lot of teams. So the wild card might be used by a fair few of you. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Here's the team. So as you can see, I made 10 transfers from the team I currently have, which does kind of concern me in the sense that that means that I don't particularly like the majority of my players right now. So as I've already explained in the last few videos, I'm intending making at least 4 transfers in the next 2 game weeks, probably 5. So yeah, looking at this team, this team to me just looks like perfection right now. So unfortunately, I don't have a wild card, but if I did, this is exactly the team I'd be going for. So starting at the back, Martinez in goal, no brainer for me. He's the one player that I keep saying is definitely not leaving until at least my next wild card. Villa have some unbelievable fixtures coming up. I think he's going to get a good few clean sheets, and I'd say by Christmas, I think he's probably going to be the highest point scoring keeper at the time. Forster is my reserve, so it doesn't really matter who I have as a reserve. As you're probably all aware now, I don't generally have any money in my second keeper for a load of reasons, which I've discussed on other videos. Now, I have Aston Villa's reserve Steer in my actual team, but the problem with that is I'm at the stage where I want to treble up on Villa, but I can't because I already have their reserve keeper. So at the time, it didn't seem like it would be an issue. Like, when do you ever want to treble up on Aston Villa? But now, obviously, that's looking like a bit of a mistake. So, yeah, if I was going to use my wild card, I wouldn't have Steer as my reserve. Lob Forster in, never going to get games. But, yeah, sure, it's just a £4 million placeholder. So, looking at the defence, I've kept the Chelsea double. Now, I keep saying it, but Reece James and Ben Chilwell, the two of them, when you're watching Chelsea play, they're so attacking, especially Chilwell. He's playing like a second forward. The amount of times the ball gets put in the box by Reece James, for example, and he's just lingering ahead of every other Chelsea player. I think Chilwell could be the highest point scoring defender this season. He's the tip for me. So I've had him in my team for a few weeks now. He's returned every week I've had him. Chelsea's fixtures look pretty good. It's just a no-brainer. They're the one team that do look quite solid at the back. So having their 2 wing-backs that are also very, very attacking. Reece James, he's not nailed on quite yet. Aspilicueta can still take that spot when they play a 4-4-2. But I think he's getting close to nailed on. Frank Lampard said some very important things there last week about how he's improved as a player and they're really excited about him, etc., etc. So I'd be surprised if he's not playing 4 out of every 5 games, which for me is perfectly fine at 5 million. So yeah, the 2 Chelsea lads for me are the guarantees at the moment. And eventually I'll be looking to play just 3 at the back. And that third guy is going to be Cancelo. So Man City right now, they've got, I think it's about 15 games coming up after the Spurs game. And after that, they've just got, it's full of green and grey fixtures. They've not played particularly well since the start of the season. But if there's ever going to be time to get City players in, it's going to be now. Cancelo, he's not nailed on. I think when Mendy comes back, there's a chance he may lose his spot. But if that happens, we can always just use a sub, swap him out for Diaz or even Kyle Walker. So for now, he's quite attacking. He's definitely going into my actual team in the next week or 2. So if I had a wild card right now, I'd be lobbing him in. 5.4 million could become a bargain. So my other 2 defenders, I'm not looking to play 4 or 5 defenders too often, but these 2 lads offer a lot of value. So Lamptey at 4.7. He's one of the most attacking defenders in the Premier League this season, in my opinion. He's always up. I think I seen a heat map of his last week, and he spent more time in the opposition half of the pitch, which as fantasy football managers, you want your defenders doing that. Like, you hope for the clean sheets, but really what you're really aiming for is the attacking returns. So yeah, Lamptey, Brighton don't have the best fixtures, but I think in rotation, maybe with Kufal, you can just play him when they have a good fixture and leave him on the bench when not. Because as you can see with this wildcard team, we've got 13 outfield players that can all kind of get point returns. So it doesn't matter if he doesn't play every week for us. Kufal, so I put him in my actual team there last week. I took out Trent Alexander-Arnold for him. I have 5.1 million in the bank after making that transfer, and I still think it was a great transfer. He obviously got, was it 8 points or 9 points? I think it was 9 points he got. 8 points. He got 2 bonus. So yeah, like 4.5 million. West Ham's fixtures are they look amazing right now. It was actually tough for me not to get a second West Ham player. I think the big problem right now is that Antonio's injured. We'll talk about him a bit more soon. And I just can't pick which players I'd probably take from them. Like, you could argue like potentially drop Lamptey and put Cresswell in, but I just couldn't afford it. If you wanted to reduce Lamptey to a 4.0 defender, you could probably upgrade Kufal to Cresswell, which probably a good upgrade. But for now, yeah, Kufal, he put in a good few crosses. Like, he was unlucky not to get attacking returns in the last game. And again, that back five is going to get you serious points, certainly in the next 8 game weeks. And when we're planning, we're really looking at the next 4 to 8 game weeks, because you can always make transfers as you go through that. So yeah, fairly happy with that back five. Midfield. So tell me a better midfield 5 in any team. Someone tell me where you can see a better midfield 5. This just has points written all over it. So start Jack Grealish. Like, he's been a revelation this season. It's like every single game he looks like he can get a hat trick. He can get a couple of assists. He obviously proved that against the big teams like Arsenal and Liverpool. 7.5 million. Villa have the easiest fixtures coming up, as I just said with Martinez. He's a no-brainer if you're using a wild card. Now, if you've already got Barkley like I have and you don't have a wild card, you might consider not upgrading just because it's a waste of a transfer potentially. But if I had a wild card, Grealish should be straight in that team. Form and fixtures, big green ticks. So yeah, he's straight down there. Mo Salah, he's the one player who's never leaving my team this season. As we keep seeing, he's just good for a return. The penalties help as well. So yeah, I'll always pick him over Mane, regardless of what stats I see, just because of the penalties alone. So yeah, Liverpool fixtures coming up are quite good. And I think Salah's going to be my captain for quite a lot of those game weeks. Alongside him, we'll just skip De Bruyne second, is Jota. So we all just seen that 4-2-4 formation that Klopp played against Man City. Jota he's involved. And he got 90 minutes in that game. Firmino got brought off after the hour. I think there's a chance Jota might eventually take Firmino's spot. Now, it's a big call because Firmino's obviously a massive player for Liverpool, but he's not playing that well. He's not involved in too many of the attacking threats. And like, Liverpool can't rely on Salah and Mane to get all of their goals. Like, they need a third guy, and it used to be Firmino. There's a chance it could be Jota. So 6.5 million. He's already gone up by 0.2 in the last week or so. I think if you've got the money, put him in. Unless you're thinking of getting 3 other Liverpool players, there's no reason not to have him. He's like the same thought process behind putting Phil Foden in at the start of the season. Jota's going to get a lot of games now, and for 6.5 million, he's going to get a lot of goals in that Liverpool team. So if you can have Salah and Jota next to each other, you're going to get a lot of points. So yeah, if you've got a wild card, Jota is a guarantee in there for me. Looking at the 2 City lads, so again, all of my money is in midfield. We've touched upon it there with Cancelo in defence, but De Bruyne and Sterling, they've got easy fixtures coming up. Now, De Bruyne's obviously, like, he's not had a load of points, but I think he's playing quite well. Now, he had a pretty terrible penalty there at the weekend against Liverpool. If he scores that penalty, which he will 9 times out of 10, he already had the assist. He would have got 3 bonus for that. I mean, he's looking at finish on 13 or 14 points, and everyone's saying how great De Bruyne is. He hits that penalty wide of the post, finishes on 3 or 4 points, and all of a sudden everyone says he's a terrible player. So for me, these easy fixtures coming up, De Bruyne is putting in some amount of balls into that box, and I really think that he's going to get quite a few assists, and City's results are going to pick up. Similarly to Sterling, so he's been a bit vacant the last few game weeks. I'm just going all in on City, so I'll just say it there. Like I can see all the bad reasons why trebling up on City is not a great idea. This is just my idea of what I'd use a wild card on. So yeah, I'm going all in on City. I think Sterling's gonna fly up to the top of the points for midfielders over the next 10 game weeks. And City's fixtures, they're just too good to ignore. So if there's one team I'm going to put some money into after Aston Villa, it's going to be Man City. Yeah, we'll see if I'm right or wrong in 8 game weeks time. So looking at strikers, so it's the budget season for the strikers. Adams. Now, the only reason Adams is in my team is because he's in form at the moment. Now, I know you're all thinking Southampton have some horrible fixtures coming up, and that's true. I just need Adams to get me through the next 3 fixtures in this wildcard, and then I'll be replacing him with Antonio. Obviously, I'd have to downgrade probably Lamptey in defence to a 4.0 million player, but then I'm getting Antonio in. The second he's back fit, West Ham's fixtures will still be really good, and his points is going to be amazing. He's one of the best players in the game when he's fit for his price. So yeah, Adams is there, but for the next few weeks only. Watkins, again, if I hadn't bought Steer as my reserve goalkeeper in my real team, Watkins would have been the sub this last week. He's playing at the top of a Villa team with easy fixtures and 2 lads in Barkley and Grealish who are going to be putting a lot of balls to Watkins' head and feet in the box. So yeah, he got a decent return there against Arsenal, and I think for the next 8 game weeks or whatever it is, Villa's easy run, 6.1 million. I think he's a no-brainer if you've got that wild card. Definitely haven't saved the best till last. It's going to take a lot more than the first 8 game weeks to get me to say that Bamford is anything more than an average striker. But 6.0 million, so like he's one of the cheapest players in the game. Leeds are creating so many attacks, like they don't care about defending. It's like they're set out to just it's like they're happy if they lose 6-5. It's very odd way they're playing, in my opinion, but it does mean that there's going to be a lot of chances. So the more chances that are created, even the terrible strikers are going to get goals. So that's the closest I can get to giving Bamford a compliment right now. He's still not in my team, and I'm not necessarily thinking I'll put him in just yet. But if I had a wild card, he'd be going in there just because of the budget. So yeah, put him in, and on the tough fixtures, I probably leave him out in favour of other players. So that's my 15. So let me know what you think in the comments about any of those players. Has anyone got their wild card, and what are you going for? Now, as with the last video, there are some players I want to ignore and reasons I've ignored them. So just to save all the comments about why didn't you get this player, here are 6 players which I've chosen to ignore on purpose. So Harry Kane. Fixtures. That's it. Their fixtures coming up now are rotten. They've got some of the worst fixtures in the game coming up over the next 8 game weeks. So 10.8 million is he? He's pushing 11 million. I just think that money can be spent elsewhere. I think his points per million is not going to be bettered by the cheaper strikers over the next 8 game weeks. He needs to score 60% more points than the £6 million lads to justify that being good. And I just don't see it happening. So he'll help me enable other players like my midfield being so good. So his funds are going elsewhere. Bruno Fernandes. United are too inconsistent for me. I'd rather have City players for their easy run. So I know a lot of United fans are going to disagree with that. That's your right to do that. But I don't see him outscoring De Bruyne or Sterling over the next 8 game weeks. And it's as simple as that. So he can keep carrying the United team, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I just think there's going to be too many games where United get 1 goal and maybe he's not involved in it. And at 10.5 million, I need to feel like I can captain him in at any time, and I don't get that impression. Dominic Calvert-Lewandowski. So you didn't think I'd have him on here. He's been a staple in my team since week 1, is getting me points every week, so I love him. But after these 3 easy fixtures Everton have, they've got 9 tough ones in a row. Like 9 tough fixtures in a row for a player he's pushing on 8 million now. I think he's 7.8, 7.9 million. So he's no longer the budget-friendly option if you're using your wild card. So I'd consider taking him out, and I'd replace him with a Watkins and use that 2 million elsewhere. That 2 million is when you're in midfield, shopping for midfielders or defenders, that 2 million could be a massive difference. So it's the only reason I'm kind of dropping him. Jamie Vardy, too expensive. I know he's got a lot of points, but Leicester are surviving on penalties right now. They've had 8 penalties this season already. It's insane. Like, as an Everton fan, looking at last season, we only got 1 all season. So Leicester to get 8 in 8, that's not sustainable. He's not had too many attacking returns outside of that. So, like, I hate to say it because I'm a big fan of Jamie Vardy, and I think the way that Leicester play is perfect for him. But just this season, with the budget-friendly strikers being what they are, I just don't think I can have him in my team when the first 8 game weeks have shown how many penalties that he's got. So McCarthy in goal. So I know a huge amount of owners or a huge amount of fantasy football managers have McCarthy, but look at their next 19 fixtures. Then, like, they were celebrating being top of the league, but they've got 1 green fixture in the next 19. I've never seen a run of fixtures like this in all the years of fantasy football. He's going to get so few clean sheets, and it's not because he's a decent goalkeeper, because he is, but there's going to be some amount of shots put on his goal. So, yeah, if you're using your wild card, I'd be taking McCarthy out. It's just, I'd almost have any other goalkeeper but him right now, just because of those fixtures. Maybe after game week 25, I think the fixtures turn again. Consider getting him back, but certainly not now if I had a wild card. And finally, Son. So, yeah, I'm getting rid of both of Tottenham's main players, I guess. Their fixtures are just too hard, and I'd just rather have Man City players. So I might get them back in closer to Christmas. But for now, like, he's pushing 10 million, and I just think that City players are going to get a better return. So, look, there will be games where the 2 Tottenham lads are getting double-digit returns, but I can only kind of put my money where I think the points are, and I don't think it's going to be from those lads. So, yeah, that's the guys who I'd avoid. So that was that, the Game Week 9 wildcard video. So let me know in the comments if you're enjoying this series, because I actually quite enjoy kind of fiddling with the team every week and picking 15 new players. So if it's something you guys want to watch, I'm happy to keep putting them up. If you're using your wildcard, hopefully you got some help from that. And yeah, that's really it. So I'm not sure if there'll be any more videos before the Game Week 9 team reveal. But so if not, have a good international break, and yeah, we'll see you on the other side of it.